Speaking of the judicial reforms, along with the security developments we discussed earlier, apparently discussions in the government about the plan that is going to be presented, we believe, in just a few minutes by the Israeli President Isaac Herzog.
Absolutely, and as Paulina just touched on, it's almost unprecedented and remarkable to see a president whose role, in particular here in Israel, is supposed to be more ceremonial, actually coming forward with some kind of a compromise plan. I'll remind the viewers, this is the second time he is coming out to address the nation on a kind of compromise plan. The first time was his 5-point plan. Now this is being dubbed the presidential plan, or at least the presidential framework. It has been reported, however, that just before this came out, that there are some unresolved issues at the moment between the plan that he is going to be putting forward and the coalition, most likely from hardliners that have put their entire careers around this, and we've seen them in the news non-stop. And here I'm talking about the Constitution, Law and Justice Committee leader Simcha Rothman, as well as Yariv Levin, who is the Justice Minister. Exactly. And we're also now seeing that from the head of the Shas party, Aryeh Deri, who's also turned around and said that if the override clause, more so than anything, allowing 61 members, a simple majority, to override any kind of basic law that gets shut down by the High Court, if that is the case, that Shas is going to end up pulling out of the government. And so it's not just that Netanyahu may disagree slightly with what is going on between his own coalition and the president, but it's likely that he's now facing political infighting within his own coalition, which could be incredibly dangerous at the moment for him, as well as his future coalition.
Right, but at the same time, and this presumably explains one of the reasons for his delay, he's been consulting with his own party and with these other coalition leaders. There are people within his own party, Yuli Edelstein Front, maybe more, that won't support the plan in its current form, the one that, as you said, Aryeh Deri said, and Simcha Rothman and people like that say all or nothing.
It is becoming more of a fact of all or nothing, and we're seeing now Benjamin Netanyahu sort of taking a bit more of a lighter step back and saying, well, perhaps these are things that we are going to have to compromise on. And again, it's Benjamin Netanyahu who has delayed his trip by 5 hours, supposedly needing to leave at 5 p.m. local time, now leaving at 10 p.m. local time, which again could be changed because of how serious he views these reforms and because of the fact that he's trying to rein in much of his coalition. He has been putting forward this face, as we know Netanyahu to do, on the media as taking a hard line, but we know that behind the scenes there is more of a softer line that he is taking, or towing at least. It does seem that he's going to need to convince some of the more extreme members in his coalition to take a similar line in terms of compromising. But what we do know up until President Isaac Herzog speaks is the coalition, including some members that are not necessarily Yuli Edelstein or bipartisan members, seem to have major issues that are unresolved.